That's what I want to add to that. Thank you all. It's good to be here. We don't need an introduction. My topic is mental health. Mental health is a definition of emotional, psychological, and social well-being of all of us. We're not going to go into psychiatry 101 and start defining mental health. Everybody has had a situation in their lives when they cried, they were depressed, when they were sad, when they almost gave up. Everybody has had that. So the question is, when does it escalate to a clinical situation? So I want to have some interactive presentation so that you'll be more interested. Because if I start reading the, the, the DSMV part, you guys will go to sleep. So we know issues involved with mental health, depression, schizophrenia, paranoia, name it, exclusive affective disorder. That's the textbook definition of mental health. But as a surgeon, my understanding of mental health is any illness that does not have an organic cause. Mr. John fell. He doesn't want to get up. Is Mr. John depressed? Does Mr. John have a stroke? Does Mr. John have low blood sugar? When you rule out every other organic cause, he has no cancer, he didn't have a fracture, he just doesn't feel like he should be standing up. And that's why he's lying there. That's mental health. And then when you go into it, you find out he is tired with himself, he's tired with the world, he is not happy how the world is treating him. And if you even go deeper, you find out he's trying to give up. But his blood sugar is good. He has no cancer. He has no fracture. Everything is non-organic. But his mental health is the reason why he's different from all of us sitting or standing. Press the light out. That's more like a small example of what we tell mental health. And like I said, every organism, every human being has had a situation where they had some mental health issue. But the time frame and the longevity of that is what determines when to seek for help. If you lose a loved one, they give you a year to cry. It's okay to show the emotional loss. Okay, and nobody will diagnose you with mental health issue because there is a reason why you are reacting. If you lose a loved one and 30 days later you still crying and that person is talking to you and you can see them, they're telling you what to do, and then sometimes that loved one will you had a conversation with that loved one, then they want to ask you to get help. So there are 10 lines everywhere. And sometimes people think it's abnormal to cry. It's not, depending on the situation. If I cry because I miss my hamburger in McDonald's, people will say, hey, that's a little bit off. If I cry because my loved ones are gone, people will say, oh, we're so sorry. If I cry because instead of getting paid $10, I got paid $9.50, and I was like, I can't explain it. People will say handle it differently. So a lot of these things are cultural. That's why it's social. Sometimes what is mental health in America may not be mental health issue in Cameroon, Sierra Leone, Ghana, or Nigeria. What's the mental health issue in the city, in Lagos or Abuja or Paris, may not be mental health issue in my village or any village here. So there is societal variation on what we define as mental health. But there are also accepted standards. If somebody is just jumping up and they want to walk down the street naked today, and nobody's going to say it's mental health. Unless there is a society where walking down the street naked is accepted. Once again, you see the variation. So everything comes individualized before you make an interpretation. I want to do an interaction here. If you guys have questions, we can use to go off on different topics. It's better. I don't want to start defining schizophrenia or that's not boring.
What's the signs and symptoms of depression and treatment?
Good. Signs and symptoms of depression. You gotta know what depression is. They try to I talk about organic cause. The first thing they do is to rush and see if there is an organic cause. For organic cause of depression, they found that there is low level of serotonin in most people that have depression. It's a chemical. So the definition is basically this person that's depressed is always negative. They see the glass as being half empty. Most people say, oh, the glass is half full. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's half full. I'm manage it. But the depressed person be like, God, this glass is half empty. What use is it going to be? So they have the negative side. Now, the clinical signs and symptoms of depression is basically giving up. They are lethargic. They are more difficult to arouse. They are not optimistic about life. What am I going to church for? Come on, every day I think to go to church. We've gone to church for 30 years. What difference has it made? Please go. I'm here, I'm fine. That's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. Think about that. Oh, you guys are going to work? Yeah, I think I'm tired today. So the cutback in daily activity becomes so noticeable. It affects their family, it affects their relationship, it affects job, and it affects even their physical well-being because then they can't take a shower. They sleep more. Some of them eat little or nothing. And then on the other end, some of them who are depressed really eat. They really eat it out. So you got to take it in context. And they don't look at things the way we do. And sometimes it's okay to be really different, but it's always chronic and persistent. The textbook defines it as lasting for more than 6 months, affecting personal function, jobs, relationship, and even the law. Some people are so depressed, they want to go down because they come in traffic and they stop. And it's not once, they just feel like, since I'm sad, why are you guys happy? So that's when they need help. And the treatment has been well established. There is an Italian physician, Ugo Pavarotti. I remember him because he had my first name. So he's the one who discovered that if you shock people with depression, kind of it will reset the brain waves a little bit. And they wake up and say, wow, I'm happy now, I'm okay now. Because of the same organic syndrome. That's a little imbalance in brain chemistry. So electric shock has been used in Europe and even America for a very long time.
And it works.
It works. But then there's always abuse. There's always side effect to any treatment. So you have had people who get a little bit more voltage than they should, and there are other complications. So when we have the advent of antidepressives like sertraline and all that, it was such a relief. And then a few years later, we found out that even those ones too are beginning to have what they call extrapyramidal effect. Some of them will make you sleep and drowsy for a long time. Some of them will just make you shake a lot. Okay, so now there are different, more modern ones. But one thing is guaranteed. Every medication you take has a side effect. Even water. If the doctor recommends you to drink a lot of water, that's the amount of water you will drink, you don't have a side effect. So the key is to balance it. And then to me, the most important part of treating depression is therapy. It's probably more expensive, it takes a longer time, and that's where our pastor comes in to help reassure you that this thing you're going through is normal, it's not normal, this is what you're going to do. Keep the faith, think about it this way, and you are really, people have this and I do, yeah. You're not the only one. It helps. So getting a second opinion, like the glass that is half empty. So we're like, yes, the glass is empty, all right. Yeah, it's empty, but it has some water. Maybe you can drink the water a little bit until you can fill it up. Really? Okay, good. So the therapy is an important part of treating and managing depression. Sometimes it could be formal, as in going to walk into a therapist's office. Sometimes it could be family, helping each other out. Say, honey, hang in there. Or baby, little baby, it's okay. They're not laughing at you. You're doing well. Little things like that does go a long way. Depression. Okay, who else? Now,
What is ADHD or whatever it's called? ADHD, what is that?
attention deficit disorder.
How do you correct that?
Attention deficit disorder. There are a lot of diseases or syndromes that people have come up with. Attention deficit disorder is not being able to maintain focus and steady. Yes, easily distracted. And once again, it is environmentally defined. And I say that because a child who has ADHD here can function very well in other societies. And I have a good example. We, in my primary school in Nigeria, very rural area, we have a big field. So we come in the morning, they ring the bell, you go to your class, you run it. You go take your seat and then you begin to learn ABCD. That's what most people do. But there is this child. That's me off? Okay. So the 5 more minutes. So this child, when we come in, he will drop his bag and he will go out to the main field and he will chase grasshoppers. He has a bag. So while we are learning ABCD, around 12, when we go for lunch, he will come back and give us his count of how many grasshoppers he killed for the day. Okay? So in this country, he would be bundled and isolated and put into the ADHD program. But the mother was just happy he's somewhere. Nobody did anything to him. So looking back, he did this in elementary 1, elementary 2, and elementary 3. He began to miss his grasshoppers a little bit. By elementary 4 and 5, he's staying with us fully. Today, he's an engineer, fully qualified, very functional. So my point is that it's a part of the development spectrum which is influenced by societal definition. In this country, they give you 2 or 3 years to straighten up. Well, kids develop differently. There are people who can do it in 2 or 3 years. They need like 5 years. But the society here doesn't have time. So it's easy to bundle you and label you and move on to the next kid. So this is what we should all know. So attention deficit disorder is a syndrome. They place you on medication. Like I said again, every medication has a side effect. And then you take you take the Ritalin so much that you're now shaking and running around. Then they will give you another medication to calm you down. That's 2 medications. So once again, you gotta follow the trend and understand the system and just know that it's influenced by society, it's influenced by personality, it's influenced by what we do around. Yes.
Yes. Post-traumatic
Stress disorder.
Yes. My husband, when he first came home, when we got married, and the very first 4th of July, and he heard, and the fireworks went off, and he went off too. He gets up, he goes, "I got you, you dirty cunt."
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, okay, how do I handle this? And so with him, I will ask if we're watching a movie or something like that, and they show bombings like that.
Yes.
I will always check with him. I go, "David, are you okay?"
Yes.
Because of that, that's still in my mind, and that's been 52 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that for me, my case was to try to calm him down, bring him back to the fact that you're not in Vietnam, and to worry about every 4th of July. And over the years, I found out that he's totally okay with it. But at first, whenever he heard, and we look at it as 4th of July as something wonderful. We go see all the fireworks, but many people who are in war, that brings back bad memories to them.
Yes. Post-traumatic stress disorder was defined during the war, as she said. People who had a lot of noise on their head and they can associate terrible situations to their condition. But it has been since modified to include people who didn't go to war but experienced traumatic events such as rape and killing and all that. So if they remember a situation in that area, it triggers them. So once again, the treatment is therapy, counseling, and steady support. That's my time. Thank you.